So we're back with the Minecraft diagonal building tutorial series. We ran a little long the last video and I apologize. I told you this would not be one of those 40-minute let's play things. I'm trying my hardest not to just have a long rambling video. I need to check and see if I want to redo the previous video or if I didn't ramble too much and I kept it pretty clear and focused. So we got our frame built, and now we're going to put in some walls, doors, windows. We're going to do roof in the part after. I want to try to keep focused, keep it tight. I'm not trying to wander around, do a let's play talk about my personal life thing, although some people might like that. Trying to keep it pretty clear. Looks like I missed a couple of block placements, so let's fix that and get into it. So we're in our world that I created, my custom flat land thick world. You're in whatever world you started building this in. Again, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, concern, anything at all, please comment and I will help as best I can. And again, if you wish to support my work, there's a Patreon link in the details and I would appreciate your support. So I just added some end parts because you always want your roof to overhang by one block at least. That gives it a little bit of depth. It adds a little bit to the walls. It's one thing that me and Grian and some of the other Minecraft builders that are more professional than I am agree on. I really liked this brick kind of thing last time. And I'm kind of wondering if I want to try brick for the wall bottom like I did in my other diagonal house, and then this for the top. But then the other thing I could do is I could just use regular bricks. It just seems kind of gray and I would like to add some color to it. I can't tell which way I want to go. I hate to get addicted to using one texture. I want to use a variety. You, of course, are welcome to use whatever you'd like. Now, another way that you can do this is if you wanted to have your support beams, that's what these wood planks actually are trying to do, is be a support beam. You could put a chiseled block underneath and have them resting on that. You could do it like this, which is a more realistic style. If you didn't like the planks for a beam, you could use wood, but I kind of agree with, I believe it was Let's Lente said that, nobody's going to use, although I like the look of it in Rustic Lodge when I built a DB Rustic Lodge, but I think he's right. Nobody's going to want to use a unprocessed bark-covered piece of wood in their home. If you look at a log home, you'll see that all the bark's pretty much taken off of it. Unless it's really rustic and somebody built it by hand out in Alaska somewhere. And no criticisms to people that want to do that. That's awesome, but it just doesn't look very good. So I kind of agree with it, and I'm kind of following along, and I did screw up. Can you see where I made the mistake? And that's another reason why we laid out this pattern on the inside, because that's where our wall will go. It kind of gives us a template to follow. And now if we take a look at what we have, we see that we are all in alignment. Everything is done correctly. We've done a good job here, except we haven't put in a door. And I don't know if I want my door to be here where you could come right out into the lake. I think it might be better here. There is one disadvantage, of course, to doing this, and that is, as you saw over here in the last video in the diagonal house, I wanted to figure out something to kind of give an entryway with the door. And you got to keep in mind, remember that this is a flat wall. Even though it looks like it's a chunky wall here in Minecraft, you're always keeping in mind what you're really building on is a flat wall. And so things have to work as if they were on a flat wall. But we got this chunk sticking out here. So how are we going to work with that? Because we can't make this chunk actually part of the entryway because it wouldn't make sense, because in a real house this chunk would actually be flush in the wall with all the rest of this. It would all be one flat surface. So we'll have to tackle that issue when we get there. I think I want to go ahead and see if I like this. I want to do something kind of off the wall, and I'm going to create some stucco here. Notice that my textures that I've chosen kind of work together. And I might change this out and add a little wood on the bottom and change it to something else. I think that's too much stucco right now, just looking at it. I don't know. Maybe I will stick with it starting at this level here. That would be a reasonable size for a window. I wouldn't want to fill. That's another mistake I've been making, is I make my windows too filled. Actually, I think I'll use wood. Yeah. I think that's what I want to do. And in fact, I'm just going to go around to make it easier on myself. And I'm just going to add this stucco where I'm going to start using it. I'm going to remove what I added there at the front. And of course, you're welcome to use whatever textures you like. You might think that my texture choice is completely stupid, and that's fine. Everybody has their own way of looking at stuff. We're placing it basically underneath the top support. We won't have windows coming all the way up to the thing. Now, I don't know for sure what I want to do. When I did this over here, I'm going to look at my work over here real quick. Oh, I did stick with the same texture, and it did work out okay. Sometimes you want to have your support beams have a different texture than your wall. In a more realistic build, it might be the same, because your supports really aren't going to be exterior. And another thing that Grian and other builders would say is, make this a block bigger than you want, build this sticking out a block, and then build your wall kind of like this. I'll kind of demonstrate as best I can. So they would want me to do something like that, where it's stuck in a bit. But I don't think that works very well with a diagonal build, and I don't know that I particularly like that. So I'm not really doing any of that depth kind of addition that they would recommend. And I'll leave that up to your personal preference if you feel that that should be added or not. That'll be your decision. So that's where our door will go. And of course we will have stucco going all the way up here. And I'll add some back here, kind of outlining where things are going to be. One of the ways that I tried figuring out how to do diagonal building was to start from the roof down. And I put that in the wrong spot. Don't copy that, I did that wrong. This needs to be over one. I didn't think that method worked very well either. I'd have to play with it some more. Yeah, that's correct. And this is wrong. This needs to be over one. So this is what we're doing for now. Let's figure out where our windows are going to be and how many windows we want. Do we want wide windows? Wide kind of emphasizes a squat building. Again, that comes from Let's Lente, and I agree with that. I think that's a excellent kind of way of pointing it out. I think for this one I want a wide window because it kind of fits with where the frame is. it looks as if wide window is going to be the best thing there. Now what I did for my other diagonal house is I made these into a 2 window, into a narrow. Because if I tried to do a wide, it would look different. You can see why things have to be that way. Because this is a 5 space, so this gives us more room. So we could actually add the narrow windows. So if you wanted narrow windows, you'd make longer segments in your diagonal build. You'll need a minimum of a 3 segment with the wall bits on each side. I don't know how you'd fit that in with the supports, but we'll just kind of outline it like we did with the other house for now. But I don't want to copy the other house exactly. And I can't anyway because this is a bit different frame. So what I've done here is I've just closed off the ends. And I'm giving myself a little strip of color that kind of matches the bricks, and that's where the door will be. So we can now add in the windows. I don't know what the pattern of my roof will be yet. I haven't decided, so I'm not going to try to fill that in till the very end. But let's get a glass window pane and go ahead and start putting that in. This is kind of cool here because this gives us a little nook where we could place bookshelves or whatever. But here's where we have to kind of compromise a little. Remember how I was talking about how it's a flat wall, and you don't want to do anything that wouldn't make sense if it's put in there. Like if I put a bunch of bookcases and I use these little edges, well, on the inside I think that's okay. I think on the outside you have to be more careful. But I think on the inside, I think you can fudge a little on that, but you might decide you don't want to, because otherwise what you're going to be getting is you would put your bookcases, as if this was a flat wall, your bookcase would start here and would go like this. And you're not really taking advantage of the space that's over there. So you have to fudge a little, you have to compromise. There are no hard and fast rules in any of this. It's a learn as you go, figure out what you like and what works for you kind of process. So we're just adding in some windows, and this will change because we might want a door, we might want a deck, we might want some other kind of a thing, I don't know. And I'm not adding fireplaces or any of that kind of stuff, but I could. I just don't want to right now. I missed a part. So this one, I might experiment with a darker roof. I might use the dark oak. That'll make it seem a little more low. More like a cabin. I don't know, or I might go with birch. I don't know. I actually used marble in the other one. Oh, here we go again. Okay, so let's lay in the floor and call this video good. We can put a door in too, I guess. So figure out what door you like best for this. I'm gonna go with, I'll try an acacia door. I'll see if I like that. I don't like it. Let's try a darker door because we might use the oak later. Oh, and I will change this brick too because it's got to match whatever we choose for the floor. That might work. Kind of fits everything. So in this case, I can't use World Edit really and get around and figure out how to clear it out. So I'm not going to do a fast forward thing. I'm just going to go through it. It's going to take a few minutes. But that's okay. It's just a small footprint. So we've got to decide what we want for our floor. thing I like to do when I'm building a floor is I like to keep some kind of stone or something over the walls. Okay, so for the floor, I definitely don't want bricks. I could use planks. I could use dark planks. I could use light planks. I've used the andesite and diorite. Let's see what granite looks like. It's more red in this texture pack, but it might match everything else we're doing, or will it be too much? I don't know. That looks kind of funky to me. Let's do the dark oak. I want to see what dark looks like as a floor. A really dark floor and then a really light ceiling. I think I like this, and it will match the door. Okay, and what I want to do is, using the middle mouse button, is I want to put the door back on one of my slots. Now that I figured out my texture, I don't want to have to hunt down the door again. I'm thinking I'm going to put that there. I might change that. I might want a different block to kind of define that we're now entering the house. Kind of curious. If I stuck a polished granite block there, don't like the transition very well. We do polished andesite. I think that is the more gray. I'm going to do that for now. It kind of fits. I like to have a different texture for the door. Okay, so we've got our walls in, we've got our windows in, we've got our floor in. We're not 100% sure with our block and texture choices. We'll use World Edit to change things if we wish to change them. Let's, oh, dear me. That's interesting. I'd make a place two doors by each other. So this is what we've got going on so far. See you in the next video.